week 21 in 2016. Let's have a look at a couple of markets that have been interesting in the past couple of weeks already and that are showing some new signs of interest here. Starting out with the gold, the last week I was talking about gold either bouncing off this area of dynamic support, or it's just trading back inside into the balance zone, and the latter seems to be the possibility that gold is now taking. Especially here at the end of this Friday, this market is coming down a little bit more, and it doesn't look like we are going to see a whole lot of continuation of this up fractal breaking with this huge candle. Instead, the market is coming down back into the balance zone. This simply means that after doing this turnaround here, which means a 4-year correction has been ended on the monthly chart, and you now see this price moving through the balance zone to the upper side of it, and you need a bigger correction than this, which stayed entirely above the balance zone, which stayed entirely above the trend indicating moving averages. So that is only an internal correction. Even though this fractal has been broken here, we need this price to kind of come into or even below the balance zone to breathe further and then continue out more. As I was analyzing the market on those two candles a couple of weeks ago, I already said that before you do get this bigger breather inside of the moving averages, you won't see any up move, because it just is the way the markets work. You get minor corrections, you get major corrections. If you look at the daily chart of gold, this should become a little bit clearer. This is what this over here is what we're looking at when it comes to the weekly doing an internal correction. Now on the daily chart, this will be a major correction. This is why you get a new high afterwards. But this is from a wave perspective, this is the last wave ending this entire move here. So you could say that this is a wave 3, a wave 4, and you get a wave 5 here. And now you need another sort of correction that corrects the entire move, the entire uptrend that led to the turnaround in gold. And this is what we are seeing right now. The black line here indicates the lower fractal of the weekly chart, which is the end of the internal correction. Very often this is the place where price will turn and then continue the move on the higher time frame. On the weekly, you can see that this is exactly where the red line is. I'm guessing we will go below that line and then bounce out of here, but no speculation. I'm just trading the signals, and of course I'm keeping my stop tight now that this week price is trading and even finishing off at its lows of the week inside of the balance zone. Let's have a look at the indices. The DAX makes for a good example what is going on here. You did get this breakout fractal a couple of weeks ago. Since then you only saw correction, but now it looks like we are moving out to make new highs. When you look at the monthly chart, it's very easy to observe this support area all in here. You get these candles with long wicks. The wicks are longer than the body of the candle on this one as well as on this one, and this just shows you that price is unable to close lower than it actually did. And so looking for lower prices on this side of the balance zone may be over already, and what we just looked at on the weekly might as well be the entry signal for a longer trend. We will have to see. There's another fractal right here, and of course we are looking at the high right above here, 12,400 points. That would be All of the US indices are showing the breakout buy fractals this week as well. It's a little bit nicer on some of them than on others. The Nasdaq is something I'm favoring, but the Nikkei should also not be underestimated, since it's showing almost the same picture on the monthly chart as does the DAX. Let's have a look at the euro. I've been mentioning that I am pretty much favoring this to go down, since sorry about this, since the overall trend is still down, and we don't really know when it's going to end, when this correction is going to end. But as you can see in this picture here, this black line represents a really nice resistance area with, again, two candles with a long wick. The wick is longer than the body, and the candle wasn't able to close above this resistance area. Now, as soon as we get a fractal on this move to the downside, I am selling here. Something like this, and then a continuation after it has been corrected to the downside may unfold here. Let's see if that happens as soon as we get new all-time, not all-time, but new lows for a very, very long time here at 104.20. That would be the very latest point to enter into this trend in the euro. However, it's just a waiting game, and it has been a waiting game in the euro to keep on selling this short for a really, really long time. That is just what trend following is all about, and the same you can observe in the next chart, which is the Australian Japanese yen currency pair. You do have a lot of resistance, a lot of support areas, prices coming through, and especially here you can see that it is having a really hard time saying goodbye to the support, which is now a resistance level. But as it keeps on breaking fractals, it becomes more and more likely that it will at least reach 72, which is 700 points below where we're at right now. It may even go lower than that. So break of more fractals in the Australian yen may actually be an indication for a further downtrend here. In the monthly chart, you can really see how price is staying below the balance zone. It is telling us that it's in the middle of a downtrend actually, and reaching for the next support level. Let's see if that will happen or not. Now, further than that, I don't see any really great developments in major markets. Gold and silver will remain extremely interesting, as well as the indices for the coming weeks throughout the summer. Let's see if we're really going into a correction mode again on the commodities mentioned, and if the stock markets around the world are actually able to establish new moves, new impulse moves to the upside, where the trend follower can really profit.